Alright folks, here we are, Practical Gun 101, and right here in front of me is a 1914 Lewis gun, and right here next to me is the owner of the Lewis gun, Bill Stojak, right?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Okay, alright, now tell us a little bit about the gun.
What it amounts to is the Lewis gun was basically the world's first successful light machine gun. Up till this point in time, when the Lewis was developed and put into service, you had water-cooled machine guns, such as the Vickers, the Maxim, things of that nature, Schwarzlow's, which becomes a very heavy gun when you have the tripod, the ammunition, the weapon, the water. You're 150 to 175 pounds, so it wasn't really man-portable. It was an emplacement type weapon. With the Lewis gun being air-cooled rather than water-cooled, it gave a portability to it. This gun weighs 26 pounds. These were also the first machine guns successfully fired from an aircraft. Okay. When you look at the old World War I movies and you see the gun on top of the wing with the drum on it, that's a Lewis.
And when they were in dogfights, these are the ones that they were shooting.
Right.
Yeah, okay, the minus parts of this though, right?
Right,
Yeah.
to lighten it up, they delete the air cooling jacket and things of that nature.
Right. Okay, good. And? All right, the drum is here. In fact, I think it's loaded.
No, that drum is not loaded.
Okay, good.
That drum is empty.
All right, so what we'd like to do here is probably take this apart and talk about some of the uniqueness and what you don't see here. Pay attention, folks, there are no tools involved. So we're going to field strip it from a military point of view, as any soldier would have done had he needed to do that. And how often do you think they did that, just offhand?
In trench warfare, I think they do it every time they had an opportunity to.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it's very filthy, or after action. You have to remember the ammunition at the time was very corrosive.
Okay.
Yeah, corrosive primers.
Right.
And of course, all that's needed to take the weapon apart is one round of ammunition.
All right, let's do it.
So, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Very, very simplistic. Remove the buttstock. Pistol rip. The mainspring. Top cover. Feed arm. And we'll remove the bolt from the operating rod or cap piston. And we'll turn the gun over. And we'll take our round of ammunition, and there's a detent pin here, which we'll remove. Which we'll remove.
It does come out very simple.
It'll fall out now.
Okay. Oh, now what? Just fell out.
Just fell out, and then we can remove the receiver. It's a rapid Acme type square shoulder thread, and the barrel assembly was normally not removed. And there we are.
And we're done.
That's it.
And we're done. I mean, that's amazing. And so they didn't count it by round. They didn't go, well, okay, after the third drum, I need to break it down. It was a fairly rugged piece of machinery.
It was subject to certain failures because of the metallurgy at the time. They carried spares, such as the clockwork mainspring, which is a very unique item for any type of a weapon system. They would carry spares of that, spare extractors, firing pins, eject. That was in a gunner's kit. It was a very, very compact kit. On the whole, they were exceptionally reliable. There was a bigger falling at the time in quality of the cartridges.
Yeah, that's what the problem was, the ammunition. Now this really looks like a pistol grip. I got to tell you, this looks and feels like something I've had before.
It's very ergonomic. It's one of the first machine guns that actually had what we consider a pistol grip on it. It had a classic wooden fixtured buttstock, and in the later variations, and here's the keep it simple principle, the oiler and the brush were incorporated right into the buttstock. The thought being you can't hardly lose it if it's part of the weapon.
You got to make it soldier proof as well, right?
Resistant.
Okay, soldier.
Can't make it proof.
And I mean that in a nice way,
Absolutely.
But when you're in the field and it's a combat situation, you don't want to be hunting around for knives and forks and hey, it's all right here.
Who's got a cross-point screwdriver?
Right. Who brought it with them today?
The weapons were made. They were made for the Russians in 7.62 by 54R. They were made for the British government in 303. They were made for the French in 303. The U.S. government finally adopted it in 30-06. dirty government. Most every caliber that was a military caliber, this weapon was produced in.
Okay, how many of these do you think were produced?
I believe in the neighborhood of 180 to 200,000 during the First World War. They were manufactured in the UK by BSA, Birmingham Small Arms.
Right, and we said earlier that this was actually a U.S. design.
Correct.
Right? Yeah,
Correct.
It was a U.S. design that was rejected by the War Department and taken to Europe.
Right, and then after it seemingly proved itself, then it was manufactured by Savage here in the U.S.
Oh.
Savage was a manufacturer of the Lewis type gun.
How many of these left?
Not too many, maybe 200 to 300 in the country.
And you acquired this when?
I bought this gun, it was my first machine gun in 1963.
1963. Now you're a war buff kind of guy. So I mean, that's the reason why you collect a lot of this and you have a lot of history on it. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm a very avid shooting sports enthusiast.
Yeah, good. And how much did you pay for it in 63?
$19.99.
Absolutely ridiculous. And you could, and how many rounds have you put through here?
I've gone through several barrels, and each barrel has a service life of 10 to 12,000 rounds.
No kidding. You think I can shoot this?
I know you can.
Hey, let's go to the range and see.
All right. There you are.
Okay.
Give it 3 to 4 rounds, then they'll know you're shooting.
All right, shooters, we were on the range, and you know, Billy was very generous. He allowed me to actually shoot the Lewis gun, and I was shocked. I expected much more. I expected a lot more impact, and I braced myself for it. And it's a, I hate to say it this way, but it's like a child's gun. Anyone could shoot this, and as you've seen from the targets, even a guy like me can, yeah, I didn't do too bad, huh?
It's a very accurate gun for a battlefield weapon, of course. Once again, weighs 26 pounds. So you get into the position and the gun will do its job. There's no question about that. It's had a very sterling reputation.
Right.
World War I.
Tell me how many rounds in
47 rounds.
Okay, 47 rounds. I actually shot 47 rounds, and it happened so quickly. I ran a couple of them off, as you saw, and then when I realized that nothing was going to happen, I just said, hey, let's go for it. Hey, it didn't turn out too bad, so you had to be impressed.
It's surprisingly controllable. Your reaction, I think, is the same reaction I've seen time and time again.
Yeah, right.
So
Hey, Billy, thank you very much. I
My
appreciate
pleasure,
the
James.
opportunity. We'll see you again for 101.
absolutely.
All right.